Where are you going?
It's time to do the show.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, we gotta do it. Time for Dad's Dishing.
Come on, follow us.
Thank God. We're rolling.
Oh,
Joe, we're live. Okay, quiet in the house.
It's been insane today.
Our
Our poor producer was lost in a lake.
Yes.
I don't know what happened to him.
Who gets lost in a lake?
I don't know. He flipped over. His asthma
happens.
kicked in.
Oh my
I'm like,
gosh.
all I'm thinking is you need to live.
Yes.
Like, you have.
Well, do you know what I'm gonna say? And Sebi, our producer, you might want to kick me after. I think you might not have great balance because when we had the birthday party at the house, he jumped in the hammock, and watching you in a hammock is hysterical. He couldn't get it level. He kept flipping out. All I kept seeing was his leg.
It could have been maybe other.
It could be
things.
other elements. Yeah,
Other elements part of it.
But that was a feel-good moment. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Definitely a lot of stuff for a Christmas reel. So
Yeah,
we'll
absolutely.
see how that goes.
Okay, so what's going on? How's your week going?
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. So encouraged with what we're doing here at Dad's Dishing. So that's just been really, really great. All the videos and all that stuff and all the people watching us. So I feel like now I'm getting to the stardom that I've always craved.
Yes, it's true. The stardom you've always deserved, Joe.
Yes.
That's
Scottie,
what it is.
tell him what it's really like once
Yes,
he's
Scottie.
a star.
Yeah, you're
You know
the
what?
star.
It's kind of impossible. I walk down the stairs in the morning and the dogs all want to see me. No, I would not know.
How are your 6 dogs, by the way?
They are fabulous. One was a little sick this week, so we had to do chicken and rice. You know, it's a hard
really?
thing. It really is like having children, just without a nanny. Because if I had children, I would have a nanny. But you can't say I have a dog nanny.
I think children are easier than 6 dogs.
Definitely, because you can have help to take care of them and nobody would judge you. If you have a nanny for dogs, people will think you're a weirdo.
I would agree.
Yeah, exactly.
I would agree.
I can't be like, oh, that's a
Well,
dog
aren't
nanny.
they called trainers, though? Like you have a trainer to sit there and help you with all the dogs and
Maybe
stuff?
that could be good. Oh, the
Like
trainers.
you need Caesar Milan. That's what you need.
Caesar's here all the time.
He's like, remember that? He just pinch him in the back.
He just talks to them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just looks at them and makes eye contact.
But his shit works, though. I'm telling you, it really does work. I did one of those tricks once, one of those training tricks.
With your daughter.
With my dog.
Yes.
Not
with
my
your
daughter.
dog, yes.
Yeah, my daughter would sit there and punch me.
How's she doing at school? Speaking of your daughter, and sorry to change the subject, but school, she is in college.
Yes.
They went away. It was weird. I know her campus is very strict. How's that going?
Going pretty well, actually.
Really?
I talked to her just last week, and I was surprised to hear that, they're still having get-togethers, all safe, and everybody's been tested, et cetera. But no, they've been doing pretty well.
Awesome. That's
it's
fantastic.
good.
I'm glad to hear that. And I'm glad to know that testing is happening and they're really on top of that and they're getting results back
Right.
ASAP.
Yeah, but big things going on in the news. I don't know if you've heard of the Breonna Taylor verdict.
Well, so I heard there was a verdict. Was he found not guilty?
Yeah. He basically walked inside, shot her, and
found not guilty. So I heard there was a big blow up a week ago or so, or
this was just very recent. Yeah.
oh yeah. So I saw it in the news.
Right.
I have to tell you, and this is so bad for somebody who is in the business of communication.
Right.
I've sort of had to get back from news.
Really?
I was finding it really difficult. I found like there was no light at the end of the tunnel.
There isn't.
Well, that's just it. With COVID and all of this and all of the negative press around the election and all of that, I had to sort of pull back and stop watching.
Okay. From what I know,
Yeah.
you sometimes have been depressed about things.
Oh, yeah. I talk about that freely. You know that. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Have you ever taken medication for anything like
I'm
that?
on every pill in the cabinet. No, but I am on antidepressants.
Really?
Yes. Oh, yeah. And I will freely talk
But you're
about
so
that.
happy.
But
Is
you
it
know
because
what?
of the antidepressants?
No, I think I was sort of always brought up to You put on a happy face, even if you're not feeling it. But that being said, the antidepressants do their part. I enjoy this. This is what I love to do. So this, for me, is fun. This is exciting. But I definitely think that if you're not careful, there are so many things that can affect you, even when you're on antidepressants. One thing that really gets me down is seasonal affective disorder. That's sad.
Right.
When the sun starts to go down and we start to enter the winter months, that's really hard. And then when there's stuff in the news that really is dark and heavy, I really am telling most people, do 20 minutes tops a day. Like, stay away from it.
You know, that's not a bad idea.
It
like,
really
you know
isn't.
what? I avoid horror movies because I live alone and I honestly get freaking scared shitless.
Me too.
Like, I'll sit there and I'll be like, oh, what's that? And it stays in your mind. And
Yeah.
that's a negativity. That's negative energy.
Well,
you know,
it's
and,
so true.
And it can, so I just kind of like, and I would before, you know what I mean? I would totally enjoy it, but not now. I'm like, this isn't fun. So I can understand what you're saying about that. But there, at the same time, there's some real tragedies that are happening.
Absolutely.
And I guess it's kudos to you to understand yourself and know yourself and say, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to take a little step back, you know?
But in the same breath, I don't want to be missing out on the reality of the world right now, which I think that's the balance, is being able to say, okay, I'm not going to let this totally take on my life.
Sure.
You know, you talked about scary movies. When I was a kid, I was of age in the JonBenet, Ramsey, that time. I was like right around the age, probably a little older than she was. And I remember being terrified of my basement growing up because I thought I was going to be found dead in my basement like she was.
Really?
And it's really, when you think about that, you can, even as an adult, stuff that you see can affect the way you live your life.
What's the scariest movie you've ever seen or remember seeing as a kid or anything like that maybe triggered nightmares?
I'm so not a scary movie person. Like, I haven't seen any. Like, I don't watch them. I won't do it. Because I already think everyone's trying to kill me anyways. I'm pretty sure everyone hates me anyways and they want to kill me.
I think the opposite.
Well, that's sweet.
Well, I remember when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was like 6 or 7 years old.
Is this your favorite scary movie story?
It's not my favorite scary movie. It scared the shit out of me. And it was The Exorcist. I don't know how I got to see this. Plus, I grew up super Catholic.
Yeah.
So, like, my parents would say, oh, that can happen.
Your mother was a former nun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom was a nun.
Forgive me for saying this. I hope this doesn't come off as ignorant. But isn't in the Latino community, there is a belief in like exorcism, that sort of thing. There's a
Latino. That's in the Catholic religion
like,
overall.
Yes.
So
but like Sato, all of that, like like
Santorini?
the devil. Yeah, Santorini.
Is that what you're thinking about?
Yeah. Is that I don't know what I'm talking about.
Some
so
of
I
that
don't
could
want to
be, I think, attributed to certain Latin culture, but my family was traditional Catholic. You know, like you go to church on Sundays and you observe like all the, the holidays and stuff like that.
Yes,
exactly.
your rosary.
Yeah,
yes,
you do the rosary and you do that sort of stuff. But at the same time, the Catholic Church doesn't really talk about this. But there are demonic possessions that are on the record.
At the Vatican.
Yeah, at the Vatican. But they don't like to disclose that sort of stuff because it's scary as all hell. And they feel like for whatever reason, they just would rather skirt that under the rug. And I've never understood. If you let people know that, and just for somebody to actually be claimed to be possessed and recognized by the church, that's like a big deal. Like it has to go through all this sort of proofing.
Like, girl, you made it.
Yeah.
Well,
you're insane.
In the same breath, the same goes for being a saint. Like, you have to have a certain record of changing people's lives or healing and that sort of thing.
Like Marianne Cope. She was she was a nun from Syracuse.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Did she get it's not ordained, canonized? I think
she was
that's
canonized.
the word. Yeah,
that's right.
canonized.
And what's funny is that not only was she here, but she also what she really did that was miraculous and just like amazing was in Hawaii way back in the day in the 1800s and early 1900s. There was a leper colony, and she wrote to Father Damien, who was a Hawaiian priest, or he was a priest who was stationed out there in Hawaii in this leper island, and she wanted to go out and help these people. So
she hated her life
Hawaii.
that much. No, I'm joking.
No, she was like it was like her calling. Like she wanted to go out and help these people that were dying of leprosy. So I always thought I'm like, how weird is that? Like I grew up in Hawaii, and this lady's from Syracuse.
That's kind of crazy.
That is funny.
So do you know?
So it mattered to me when she was canonized.
Yes, back in the day, it was a big thing, and I think still in the Catholic Church, to carry a relic. Have you ever heard of that? It's a piece of a saint's bone. So my grandfather, we were Catholic as well. My grandfather's favorite saint was Saint Teresa.
Oh.
And he had a piece of her bone that he carried with him everywhere and was buried with her.
Wow.
Yes. But that is something that, because of this connection, you should get a relic.
I should get
this thing. It could be good luck.
I don't know.
You know, who knows? We'll see.
I don't know.
But I want to go back to the demonic items. When we talk demonic items, is it actual, like, physical stuff?
What do you mean?
Like, is it an actual, like, is it an item? Like, is it a demonic cell phone or a demonic? I mean, these are older items that are on record at the Vatican.
Oh, no.
Is it a demonic knife
no.
or is it demonic?
I think actual testimonies and stories like...
oh, my God. I thought it was like a demonic dildo.
That's in your top drawer.
Yes, that's exactly. It's demonic, I'm telling you. It destroys everything in its sight.
I know. Oh, my gosh. How did we get on this weird-ass topic?
I don't know, but I like where it went today. Don't you?
It is scary. Well, for me, like, here's a tip, parents. Don't have your kids watch The Exorcist or anything freaking scary because it can psychologically scare them.
It totally
I used to freak out, man. I would sit there and low crawl into my parents' bedroom because all I could see is this awful girl's face, her Linda Blair. And I would see this, and I would just sit there, and I would just cry. I was so freaking scared. Yeah. And I would sit there, and I would crawl in my parents' bedroom.
And that was just your cousin Maria.
Exactly.
Maria.
Oh, it's just scary. Anyway, all right, let's get off this topic because it's just awful.
So before we go on to where we're going, we always need to talk about something. We have to talk about our sponsors because without our sponsorships, this show would not be possible. So we have to be thankful to Northeastern Dental.
Yes.
They are fantastic. They are the official dentist of Dad's Dishing. We so love that. Yeah. Kelly's producer, Kelly, her twin boys, they're going this week. They are doing whitening. They're doing everything. I have to tell you what's great about it is with COVID, dental health went to the back burner because for a while, dentists weren't able to be open.
Yep.
Well, they are open. Northeast Dental, they are back in business. Their message to you, we're open, we are here, and we've taken every possible step possible to make sure you are healthy and protected from COVID.
That really
and you can
matters.
continue keeping your dental health in place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
Dental health matters, and we've talked about that in the past. And now with this partnership with Northeastern Dental, it's actually great. I can't wait for my own appointment. I know that we're all going.
We're all going to get whitened teeth and beautiful.
Even,
and just normal teeth cleaning. You should be doing that. Do it. And tell them Joe and Scottie sent you.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Okay, so when we talk about dental health, one of the things we have to talk about is what's coming up. This month is the month for candy. Yay! It's Halloween month. I'm so excited.
Some people consider that their favorite holiday.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know? Look, we have somebody right in the studio.
Right.
Yes.
Our photographer, Charlene, she loves it. She's all about it. But isn't another friend of ours, Jessica, she loves Halloween also, right?
Loves Halloween.
Okay. So, Producer Kelly, we were talking about the fact that they're not going to cancel Halloween.
In the state of New York, you're still allowed to trick or treat this year.
Okay. So
at this point.
You happen to think that's a bad
I think
thing.
that it is because it sends a clear message that rules are made to be broken. So if we're not adhering to the rules, how can we expect a positive outcome? That's just allowing children to be together, to be in the mix. They're exchanging candy. You don't know where that candy was.
Yes.
It just adds so many difficulties to an already difficult situation.
Yes.
And I did see on the news the other day that a man was creative and he's making kind of a decorated shooter to go down.
I saw that too, with beer for the parents.
Yes, and sanitizer.
Yes.
And he's social distancing for trick-or-treating, but that doesn't mean little children are going to social distance. And perhaps they are following the rules more than a lot of adults are.
Yeah.
But it still gives me an idea that there's going to be concern. And the more normalcy that we're mixing in, the more tendencies we have to go backwards.
Okay, so here's what I will say. And I agree with you to many points. But one of the things I saw that was great, I don't know if you've seen this, Joe. It was a meme that said the great thing about Halloween is it is literally built for COVID. You are wearing a mask.
Yes.
You typically are going out in a group of your people, your siblings.
Right.
So these are already people you are social distancing with. The candy is individually wrapped, so you don't have to worry about that. That you're literally going to the door and not going in the house. Yep. So really, if you think about Halloween, I'm an advocate for it, kids.
I think that we really need to put those points up because they are all positive factors.
Right. Yes.
In an unsure world.
Exactly. And you know what? Maybe the answer is that if you are handing out candy, which I so say you should, because when I was a kid, people did it for me, and I want to do it for the kids of this generation.
Right.
And I think you should also. But Joe, I think the best plan will be to be out on your front stoop or out on your front lawn so people don't have to go up to the door in a tight space or ring the doorbell. You're not touching that. But if you're out there with a bowl and people are doing the social distancing thing, I see no problem with it.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, look at us, kids.
I think.
And then we get rid of it, we don't eat it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the governor just knows that he'll piss off a lot of moms and a lot of kids.
I'm sure it's
number one.
Yes.
Number two, it's not the first time that we've seen this because it's also okay to do protesting.
Yes.
And be out marching about, and no one really is keeping that whole social distancing. And I'm not against either. I'm just pointing things out.
Yes.
You know? That Halloween trick-or-treating doesn't make all the sense in the world, but then again, whatever, you know.
But it brings me to the most important point. Have you started thinking about your costume?
I haven't. I have no idea what I'm going to be.
Scottie's had some really great ones, and I think that some of his years past we need to put up during the month of October and have maybe a vote for the favorite. Like, was it the three little pigs?
Oh, the three dirty little pigs.
Oh, yeah.
So we were pigs in harnesses.
And then there were the mice.
Oh, yes. Look at that. A Stag Night inflatable Willy costume.
Oh, my gosh.
That might be what I'm going to be this year.
What about when you were... the mice?
The three Mickeys.
That was a great one.
The three Mickeys. The three dirty Mickeys.
Are you doing that again this year, or have things changed?
Things have changed. I am now a kept man. No, I'm now I'm betrothed. That's the word, not a kept man. I wish I was a kept man. No, I'm now betrothed.
And also, you're a celebrity now.
Oh yes, exactly.
So therefore, you just can't.
I have to wear something really... Oh, look, Big Willie Man costume. I like that. Sebby's pulling up some of the fun Halloween costumes.
Oh, my...
But I
like
to
the
say...
Kangol hat on.
Yes, and then he's just
that?
nude with a Big Willie. So, Joe and Kelly, you guys have done some really fun costumes.
Yeah, we did Baywatch last year, which was fun.
Kelly literally looked like Pamela Anderson.
She did.
Producer Kelly did, yes.
You.
It's true. You looked so
It was
hot.
the clear heels.
Ugh. What is that?
Because everyone can rescue in clear heels. You looked like the David Hasselhoff. You looked
Don't
like
hassle the Hoff.
Don't hassle this Hoff. You guys were
Maverick.
Maverick. Yes.
Yeah,
We're Top Gun.
Yeah, we've had some fun ones. But I don't know. I don't know about this year.
I'm
I don't know what
pushing
we're
for
gonna
Ken
do.
and Barbie, but
I
I feel
like
like
that.
I'm going to be.
I think he should be
Shot
G.I.
down.
Joe. You look more like a G.I. Joe than a Ken. Because Ken's blonde
Right.
and white.
I'm white.
Yeah, sure. You're a variation.
Am I not white?
Did
I
you
like
know
hanging
that
out with
Ken
my
was Latino?
Can I just say, I just filled out the census, and when it comes to it, white is totally specific, and then Latino, it breaks down like 4 different Latino. Have you seen that?
No.
Has anybody else done the census?
What's a census? I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
I filled out Joe's.
Okay, you filled out jokes, but there is like so I would consider you white. Yeah. Does that sound racist?
Well, no. There's different types of Latins. Actually, there's the Latin from European descent, like a Spaniard.
Like a Spaniard.
Right. A lot of Colombians, though, or a lot of South Americans have a lot of Spanish blood through them. But then we're also in the mix of African within us and also Native. They're called Mestizo, which is kind of like a blend
I love
of
this
people. Mestizo, yeah. So there's that. And, but it's a melting pot of.
I find it very interesting.
Yeah.
I find cultural, have you ever done the 23andMe or the test?
No.
I won't do that because I don't want my DNA there in the government's hands because they say that it can be given back to the government. Have you heard this?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I've never heard that.
No,
really.
it can't be.
It's a private
And
company.
Do you know
isn't it?
that there are companies now that you can use? Okay, there are people who are doing like tracing to try to find a killer from before that the DNA they couldn't match. They'll find it through one of these 23andMe companies, and they'll be able to either find the person or find a relative of the person and know exactly who the killer was, or at least who the family of the killer was. I mean, this is fascinating stuff. If you haven't seen this, Google it, kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I don't know. One of my favorite TV shows is called Finding Your Roots with Dr.
aliens.
No. It's no aliens, but it's just Finding Your Roots.
Okay, yes.
With Dr. Henry Louis Gates Jr.
Is it all celebrities finding their roots? Yes, I've seen
and
this.
I love that because it basically goes back into people's histories and like, we went back here and we discovered this. Yeah. And it looked like I would like to have something like that done.
Yeah,
done by
I think that would actually be very interesting. Yeah. You know what I mean? I definitely think that would be cool.
Ben Affleck was on that once, and I think that he didn't want it to air because they found like they maybe like some ties to the South.
Oh yeah,
maybe a plantation owner or two. So I think
what?
Don't quote me on that, by the way, but it was something that was like that he just didn't want out there.
I'm sure, and they say I think we've talked about this maybe on the show. In Germany, a lot of Germans who are very wealthy are very quiet about their wealth because some of their wealth came from the Nazi regime, and they made that money, and they're embarrassed by it. But they have this wealth, and so I can see where if you found out that your family had owned slaves and were terrible people in that way, I wouldn't want that out in the world.
I know.
I definitely wouldn't.
I know. It's awful.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Well, that's not fun.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
But let's talk about some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Like our guest.
All right.
Mr. Matt Goddard.
He is so awesome. He is a visionary. He is the man behind this space that we are in, because this show would not be possible. We are here in the Cafe Kubal workspace with the brainchild behind Cafe Kubal, Matt Goddard. Join us. Woo!
All right. This is the dad's dishing.
It's the most exciting thing today, right?
Exactly.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, thanks. How you doing, Scott?
We're doing wonderful.
Good.
Thank you for joining
your
us.
beard is fierce.
It's on point.
It's now this is the most on point. It's been like it looks good. It's like
I got a little bit of the mask dent here, but I'm working on it.
I think he's been around Michael Haggerty. He's rubbing off.
I know, the beard. You guys have a beard competition. Is this like a no shave November thing? No shave, no COVID type thing?
September?
What is this about?
Yes. I'm just getting ready for the winter, the lumberjack season.
Keep your face warm.
You have a great beard too.
I keep mine a little thick because I look thinner with it. Do you find that? Have you shaved it off recently? Where you have a thin face, anyways. But have you found where you shave it off and you're like,
totally.
I hate this. Like,
this is as good as it gets. I have like a good Fu Manchu.
Exactly. Yes.
And I don't grow anything like you guys have. Like
you do sort of have like a pubescent boy's thin patchy beard.
Yep. It totally sucks. I know. I'm embarrassed by it.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I always wanted like yours is perfect. You have like the George Michael one.
One can dream to have this. All right, so Matt, tell us about this space that we are in. We're going to talk about a plethora of things today, but tell us about this space, how this came to fruition.
So I think I just got interested in podcasts in general, and media production, and I decided to just pursue that avenue in business, and it's been great because a lot of people, their dream is to just produce something and just talk. Exactly. If you know how to talk, and you come here, you can have your own show.
Which is awesome.
But you have to have the content, the theme, the genre, and everything all down like you guys do. And then we can take it from there. So we wanted to be able to kind of unlock that for people.
Do you think it goes hand in hand with coffee? When I think about like where media has gone, we went from books at Barnes and Noble with a cup of coffee to now they have Nooks. But then people started listening to things, music, and then interviews, and it sort of went hand in hand together.
The whole project here at Kubal Co-works is taking a life of its own. It just kind of is an outcropping of community and coffee. It absolutely does have a lot to do with coffee.
Right. Yeah.
And people hanging out and having coffee together, and then getting some ideas for things, and then putting it into a format.
Yeah. You're a visionary guy. Like what's on the horizon for you? So like you have this. Yeah. I've heard some rumors. I don't know how real they are.
Yeah.
Maybe a rooftop something?
Yeah, I think Sebastian and I bought the building knowing that it did have a good rooftop, a good view.
Oh, that's huge.
Yep.
Okay.
So you can actually access the roof right here. You want to go up?
And let's go up after. Actually, I'm deathly afraid of heights. But I will say, I really am. Like, I can't even go up the staircase without looking over and feeling.
Vertigo.
But yes.
Yeah.
But I will say, helmet. In this, a dad's dishing helmet. It all has to be branded.
For whatever reason, a life jacket.
Yeah,
a Gucci.
Exactly,
helmet,
a Gucci helmet with Dad's Dishing on the side.
Perfect.
But I will say that in this market, there really isn't a rooftop bar in any hotel, anything like that. So that is part of being a visionary, is seeing the void in a market and saying, okay, maybe we can do something here with this.
I
That's
think
awesome.
It's freaking exciting. I want to go
Yes.
today.
Yeah.
Is it open now?
I'll sit towards the middle.
Well, we can
All right.
uncork something and go up there,
Okay,
but
I like it.
you know.
Well, we will see. So one of the things you talked about is coffee being a way to get together. So many of us will say, "Oh, if I have to have a deep conversation with somebody,
Right.
I will say, let's meet at a coffee shop. I don't want to do it over alcohol because I know it could get ugly quick. So, but COVID took that away from us. We weren't able to do that as much.
Right.
But now things are opening up. Are you seeing that? What have you been doing for your clients during this time?
Right. We did a bit of a furniture rearrangement in the cafes to just try to make it more conducive.
Social distance.
Just getting used to it. Before we had it kind of all shoved off to the corner, like how long is this going to last? But now we decided, we're in it for the long haul, so why don't we just get used to it and make and learn the new normal and still do what we do, still human.
Exactly.
And
In
the
interactions
Right.
and be able to
Right.
communicate with people
Right.
over a cup of coffee or some Cafe Kubals power truffles.
balls.
Right.
Okay, can I
Yeah.
tell you, I got these downstairs. I had never had these. They are amazing.
Thanks.
Matt, I love your
Thanks.
balls. I love your balls. These are fantastic.
Just make sure I don't get stuck in the elevator with you.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, ooh,
be a
there's three
nightmare.
of us in here. This is going to get good. Well, thank you for these. If you haven't tried these, check them out. They come in different flavors. But it's not just coffee. It's honey. It's all of these amazing
Right.
products, local products, all
Right.
made. It's
Right.
awesome. It
And
really
if you're
is.
in
Thanks.
sales, there's always been that thing like if someone has something warm in their hand,
Yes.
they're likely to be more agreeable.
The same thing happens in an elevator that you're stuck in.
Exactly. You could have had your way had you had some freaking coffee.
Yes, if you don't know what we're talking about, click onto Facebook, click onto Instagram. We have some fun videos, and you will check that out in now. All right, so we were talking before you came on the show about how your family is like the Brady Bunch, the
That it
Goddard
is, yeah.
Bunch.
Right,
Yes, yeah.
right.
All right, it is the merging of two families.
Yep.
And how has that been for you? We've talked about it a little in the past, but how is it with COVID and everybody home? Some people homeschooling. Your wife's
Yeah.
a teacher. Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Amy's a teacher, so she's in over her head,
Yes.
up to here.
I
working
said
on
wife.
lesson
Excuse
plans.
me for saying that. I
So-
do know that that is not
Maybe someday,
You
yeah.
someday,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah, we're doing the cohabiting thing,
Yes.
and it's
Which
working
is
out.
a good way to do it.
It's working out. It's
Yes.
working out. It's intense. There's a lot going on all the time.
I'm sure.
I was just actually on the phone with my son's teacher just now. So
How did
he's
that go? Was that-
adapting. He was going to private school, a new school for him this year, 7th grade. So
Is it
there's an
mostly
adjustment
online,
period. So
or is he there?
he's there. And then we have 2 that are online and hybrid kind of there, and it's just there's a lot going on.
How
but-
are you keeping track of it all? Because that is a lot. On top of owning your own business with several locations.
Yeah.
Children, children, your children, her children, the mix.
Right,
How are you
right.
doing it? I mean, really?
You just wing it.
Yeah.
You just
You fake it till you make it?
you just wing it. But I think that one of the things that we do teach our kids is to be autonomous and to learn to do things for themselves.
Awesome.
And I think they see us and the example that we put in front of them, and they're able to do, in fact, kind of. They grow up, but
Yeah.
I think we're equipping them for the way the real world works.
Okay.
And I think that helps also that we have similar parenting styles.
Huge.
That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
philosophically speaking,
she's
you know,
chill,
Yeah.
just like him, but smart.
Yeah.
So they get it.
And you do have to both
Right.
be. If your formula is easygoing, but we want them to to be able to go out there and strive for themselves.
Yeah.
That's great. You have to be on that same
we
page.
have to do good. We have to do nice activities for them. We did a lot of boating this summer, and we
Nice.
put them first.
Yeah.
And
Which is huge.
yeah.
So can I ask, and this is never a fun question, but how are things with the ex and the
Right.
fact that you have this new family
Right.
that is now come together? That can be
People
difficult.
can get jealous.
Yes.
But
But-
when you're in the new
Yeah.
relationship and things are hunky dory and
Absolutely.
great.
But the good news is Dolly and you are still on the same page of
Yes.
how you raise your children.
Yes.
Is it still the same for you? I know that's a hard question to ask.
I would say generally there are some things that we are on the same page with.
Yeah.
And recently it's been better.
Okay. That's awesome.
but we did go through quite a rough period, and there are still some rough periods going on. I look at the way that Amy is with her ex, and he actually just recently got remarried himself.
Okay.
So now whenever we go by a bridal shop, she's kind of looking.
Oh yeah.
But I think with my ex, it's ongoing still, and we're still working towards the functional co-parenting dynamic. But I will say I am encouraged with a few recent things. We did agree fully settled on the custody issue.
Oh, nice.
So that's underneath. And now they're just more to come.
Yeah.
That. So
you have to have the long view. That's the bottom line. Is just realize that this person's going to be in your life forever.
Right.
And find ways, which is weird, to find new ways to love this person again, and not in the same capacity that she once was as a role as your wife, but I would be remiss in feeling awful if I didn't admit that I do love my ex-wife. I do love Dolly.
Yeah.
She's the mother of my kids, and to this day we're still friends. Now sometimes we're at each other's throats.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what's changed? You know what I mean?
Right.
Matt, wouldn't you say, though, that your road to divorce was a little bit tricky because you both had thought you were going to use the same legal representation, and that didn't work out so well?
Yeah. I think my approach was, let's be adults here. Yeah. It's not working, and we're moving forward, and we're moving forward with divorce. And I think in order to protect myself in hindsight, what I should have done is just, in case, get my own attorney, get things evaluated separately.
I will say, to that point, even in real estate, like in a real estate transaction, you can have an attorney represent both sides. Mm-hmm. And yes, that might make things faster, but it's not always in your best interest. No. It is good to just have one person advocating for one person on each side. Right. And when you look back, hindsight is 2020. I think that's basically what you're saying. Like, okay, it could have gone a little smoother with that.
Well, yeah, I think, and I hoped for that.
Yes.
And we actually headed down the road that way a little bit.
Okay.
But she changed her mind.
Okay. And it happens.
So
it happens.
It happens. And
normally when someone gets into a new relationship or there's somebody new, that's what usually kind of like rips open that wound. It happened to me when I remember when Dolly, got into her relationship right after. Yeah. I was furious.
You're like, I'm going to murder this guy.
And then, you lose control. You have no freaking control over anything.
No man's going to have my woman.
Exactly. But then, then you realize after a while, it is what it is. I'm moving on too. I fucked up in so many different ways. It's not even funny. Excuse my French. But at the end of the day, you just, again, try to
I think that's
think
Spanish,
about the kids.
Joe.
Yeah.
What's that?
Exactly.
I think that's Spanish.
Yes, it's not French. To Kelly's point about you guys started talking to the same attorney.
Right.
Was it a mediator? What was that format?
I think it was a medium.
She was like, I think you should get everything.
Exactly.
I'm not pointing in which direction.
No, we had shared the same valuation accountant.
Okay.
So we used the same accountant that did our taxes, both of ours.
Okay.
And was the accountant for the business. But she was not satisfied with that and changed her mind, and then kind of went down the whole opposing side, and I was left paying the bill, which was not cheap.
Yeah.
So, $75,000 later.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, you could have bought a Range Rover.
I could have bought a lot of things.
Exactly.
I don't know if a Range Rover. Maybe
you would have a rooftop bar,
a few new espresso machines,
exactly,
stuff like that.
Just a few more. Yeah, a few more. That hurts. Yes.
It's like Jeff Bezos. He's still the richest man in the world,
and she's now the richest woman in the world, isn't she?
Well, I don't know. He has like $170 billion.
She walked away with a lot, like $70 billion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I remember I got the Forbes 400 list, and I was like, all right, well, Jeff Bezos, of course, on the front. But yeah, she's like number 12. She's like the 12th richest person in the world. And that's after they split up.
You half of a lot is still a lot.
Exactly. I'll take half of anything. I know. Just as long as I don't have to give half of anything.
Joe's going to have to give up his old albums.
Yes, exactly.
Like, I'll take that signed autograph picture of Diana Warwick.
Exactly. I'm like, Dionne Warwick goes to me. Oh my gosh. But that being said, it is a difficult thing. Did you find when you were doing the custody agreement that you were trying to match the custody agreement with your current girlfriend, with her children? So things aligned and the kids were able to come together at the same time? How did that work out? Because that is a good question.
Yeah, we did set that out initially as the custody agreement, which was working for her already.
Okay. Oh,
and then we had done that for 2 years, and then finally the judge and her side and my side all agreed, okay, let's just continue this since it's been working already. And it's actually great. Our kids get along really well. They're good kids. So I have to give them credit.
They're awesome human beings.
Kids are awesome.
Everyone we met at that party in your family.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Fabulous human beings. Yeah.
The more coffee I had, the nicer everyone became, which was amazing.
I think it was because of the hot chocolate with alcohol in it. Everybody was nice. Everybody was nice.
I was like, what is it?
I'm like, where's the elevator in this house? Joe.
Everybody got a little better looking, too.
Everyone got better looking. Even I walked by the mirror, I'm like, look at you, you sexy fucker.
There you go with the Spanish again.
Yes, exactly. That's Spanish. It's really getting bad here. It's true. But for you, as far as, like, one of the things we talked about a couple weeks ago, we had a great guest on, Shireen Pavone. She is a family attorney, and she was talking about dealing with COVID and the family. Did you run into any issues with that, where exes were literally saying, okay, I don't want you around my kids because of COVID, our kids. Right. Did you run into that? How
you're out in the community, so therefore you could be, questionable in your behavior.
Maybe.
Exactly.
But I think because you're a business owner.
Questionable in my behavior anyway.
Yes. Yeah. I love that.
Like, listen, I
that's why I like it.
Just a couple of whorehouses and then Moonlight Bunny Ranch. That's where
I go. No, this is not the Matt Goddard I know.
No.
So I'm very cautious.
As a business owner, you have to be because people are watching.
I'm very cautious, and I knew that if I was exposed, then that would be a really bad thing publicly as well as personally.
Yes.
So I took every precaution. Yeah, and my cafes are now open, but we have all the PPE standards very well aligned. And I was more worried about her.
Yes.
I don't know how worried she was about me, but I was worried about her and different traveling ventures that she did.
Absolutely.
So we were very careful with the thermometers and the testing and all that, and fortunately, no one,
thank God,
no one directly related to me has contracted it. So
fantastic. So one of the things I said is, as a business owner, you have to be aware of this. And it brings me back to the divorce conversation of when you're in a relationship with someone, their business, what they're doing becomes so much of your life. So not only are you divorcing in that aspect, but also from the business aspect of things. Was that difficult for you? Because I think that could be helpful to a lot of people, no matter what you do. If you're a teacher, if Amy comes home and talks about a kid who's suffering at school, you feel it. You're with her on that.
Absolutely.
You're emotionally invested. Absolutely.
Yes.
So, what was the question?
So the question is, don't worry. I know. I get on these long tangents. You got lost in my beautiful eyes. I get on these long tangents. But my question is, not only were you divorcing from yourself, but there is now this separation of your ex and the business. That it's no longer beneficial for her to be concerned with the business. How did that play out? Was that a difficult thing where she was still saying, hey, what's going on with this location? Did she feel invested in that way?
I think part of the thing that led to our divorce was her general lack of interest in it anyway.
And that's the answer. That's a great answer.
It wasn't really. I was out working all the time. She was home.
And this is a commitment. You're talking. You never leave your business when you have seven locations at this point, and always growing.
And he's a real success story. Like you don't get to this point in this town
working 20 hours a week.
No, man.
Yes.
You have to bust your ass and be creative and find opportunities and come up with a product that people are going to like. That's hard.
Yes.
And then get the right people and then payroll and Jesus
He's
Christ.
out on the street in the truck.
I know.
Right. Yeah.
And that is the lesson, too, in a successful relationship. It is more than just sex. It is more than just, liking being around each other. Are you supporting me in the things I'm doing that I am passionate about?
Absolutely.
Because if we can't meet eye to eye on that, it's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
It won't.
Not at
It
all.
really won't.
Yep.
That's a difficult thing. And truthfully, you don't think about that starting out in a relationship if you haven't started the business
Because
yet.
eventually the business becomes your wife.
Exactly.
And your wife becomes your mistress. You know what I mean?
Your wife does, yeah. Or anyone, and whatever the relationship status. If you're a woman who's committed to your business, same thing.
Right.
Yeah, I think how I have it now, though, with Amy, she's very interested in my business, and
Sure.
we're like you said earlier, Scottie, we're invested in each other and what's going on in each other's lives, and it's been great. So we're on the same page on a lot of things, and
Isn't that the gift?
what causes her to bleed, I bleed too, and vice versa. So,
which is huge. Now, can I ask the question of when you started dating your ex? Were you already in this business, or was this?
we kind of started it. We kind of started it right after. It was more. It was my dream.
Yes. Yeah.
I knew I had to do something
Yeah.
to provide to go make a buck, and where I was working was closing.
Wow.
And I knew I needed to do something just for my own security. So why not just take the opportunity to pursue my passion? So
Absolutely.
for 2 years, I roasted the coffee in my parents' basement.
Wow. That house must have smelled amazing.
It did.
Yes, they probably miss it.
It did. But the understanding is they get free coffee for life,
They deserve it.
which
Yes.
yeah, that's a good deal for
It's
them.
a great deal.
Sure.
Yeah. I bet you roast coffee in my house for free coffee
Yeah,
for life.
You go broke, you roasting.
Exactly. Yes.
Even though I didn't have the support in my own house, I still had the support of so many other people.
Family and loved ones around you. And that's why I think, we can meet somebody on certain terms. And this is our life. And life should be, I want to be here, not I have to be here. And the minute a relationship becomes, I have to be here, that's when it stops
sucks.
working.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. And you need to be with somebody who does support you and love you, especially as an entrepreneur, as a business person who is throwing so much time into their business. That's hard. It's hard. You have to have that.
How hard is it for you now? You being an entrepreneur, you having your own store, having to deal with your own buyers, vendors, clients, delivering stuff. I mean,
I have to tell you, it's been a shift for me because I went into COVID working, full-time Monday through Friday type gig. And then I was home a lot during COVID. And I thought we were going to murder each other. It was not good.
Right.
So it's been wonderful that I'm out of the house all the time. We actually like each other again.
for everybody, for both you and him, right?
Exactly, for both of us. It's like, good, I'll see you for an hour tonight, maybe.
exactly.
But it does shift.
So sure, from that perspective, but don't you find it a lot more like now you're putting in maybe 60 hours a week worth of thought, where before you would do,
Now I'm always thinking about it. And I think you can attest to that. Both of you can attest to that. I'm always thinking about, okay, what am I going to do? I know I have this coming in. I need to order this. I need to sell this much to pay my bills, to do all of that. And it becomes a focus all the time. I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, wait, I thought something was supposed to ship in this week. Where is it? So you change. You do.
Do you have a right-hand person, Matt? Do you have somebody that you can just rely on that helps you, maybe see things?
We have a team.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There's
we have
a Cafe
a great
Kubals team?
Absolutely.
Did you find it difficult to relay from yourself to the team to start letting people do things, to start, allocating work or allow others to take care of things for you?
It took me about 10 years.
I believe it.
It took me about 10 years to try to, remove myself from the situation.
Yes.
Where, and trust. It takes, and I like to have a lot of control.
Yeah.
And I like a certain standard. And at some point you have to get your procedures down in order to provide the delegation of authority to other people.
And and part of being an entrepreneur is being able to release that, educate others, and build the business in a way that you can. And that's success. If you can say, I trust this person, I feel like I have brought them down the path where they know exactly how to run this business. That's a success in and of itself.
And being able to manage it. That's what you're saying, right? Because if not, you just created a job for yourself as opposed to owning a business. There's a difference, you know.
Yeah.
You want to be able to trust and develop people so that they can work under you.
Right.
And then that allows you the creative space to move forward and build a Cafe Co-works here. Cafe Kubals Co-works.
Yeah. You absolutely have to have people if you're going to scale.
Yeah.
You can't do it by yourself.
Yep.
Did you find when you met Amy that was sort of a thing too, to be like, maybe I need to step back a little bit and maybe I need to make more time for my love life?
Right.
And did that help you in the process of stepping back from the business a bit?
I think I wouldn't have been able to pursue that if I hadn't done it already.
Okay. Yeah.
So I had that down where I would come in to work, not crazy hours, not 5 a.m. to 10 at night like I did when I first started.
Right.
I believe it.
But I had that down by then, and I wouldn't have had the space to allow that into my life if I didn't have that down.
That's an awesome takeaway. Yeah.
How many locations now? 8? 10?
What time is it?
Exactly. Well, the new one opens tonight at midnight. Yeah.
Our newest location is out in Manlius.
Yes,
and
which is
that's
exciting.
that's under construction right now.
Okay.
And right now we're going to be out there all weekend with our food truck, with our mobile cafe.
I
serving.
love that thing.
Yep.
Yeah. I was walking through our neighborhood the other day, because we live around the block from each other. And
you rich
I
people.
saw it outside your house, and I'm like,
Yep.
if only I had cash on me, because I was walking the dog, and I'm like, I've got to come back. Because
Scottie, you
it's
could
so
buy it
awesome.
with your smile. You could get a lot of your smile.
Thank you so much. That's what I tell everyone. I'm going to pay with my smile.
Get the F out of here.
Yes, exactly. Matt Goddard, thank you so much. Thank you for
pleasure.
your time. Thank you for
pleasure.
this space, for allowing us to have this space to use this and develop a platform for Joe's passion, really, and my passion too. This single father message
And the connections. It's been a blessing knowing you. Obviously, I think we share a lot of the same interests and
Absolutely.
the same struggles.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this fantastic team wouldn't have happened without you, Matt. So like Sebi and Charlene and Robbie. Just a great group of people, and it's my bunch. It's funny when I tell my daughter, I'm like, I'm hanging out with kids your age. That's my posse now. They're like, this Sebi guy, you're meeting him at, at Heritage Hill or whatever.
Sebi, would you do me a favor and call him Dad?
Please do that.
No.
When we go out, just be like, hey, Dad, mind if I get a drink?
They kind of would buy it. They're like 2 Latin guys.
Yes, I think if you had to call Kelly Mom, she definitely would be a MILF, though. So that's comforting.
Yeah.
Matt, thanks so much for joining us. We do appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much.
My
Matt.
pleasure.
Thank you for
My
being
pleasure.
on.
Yeah,
of course.
this is awesome.
Happy to be here. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Awesome. Once again, Matt brought it.
He totally did. And you know what?
He was open.
I have to tell you, that is the greatest thing. And I think if we can all be open when we talk about divorce or we talk about our relationships, that's how we move forward. And I think that's really good. I think it's hard to share those details. So whenever we have somebody who will share with us, like we share,
Right.
it's a wonderful thing.
Till you get a private message saying, what the hell did you say all that shit for?
Exactly. I trust me. I get that. What did you just say?
Yeah.
What are you talking about, Scottie?
Oh, my God.
All right, so I have to say, before we even go any
Peace
further,
out.
we have to talk about Heritage Hill Brewery, because this is another fun, fabulous sponsor of the show.
Dan Palladino.
They are awesome. He has put time, effort, and money into a space that is truly wonderful.
It really is.
Yes.
It's absolutely beautiful, and it's also an event space, too, so you can rent it out for weddings and things like that.
And I have to tell you, if you are looking at this year, I had 3 weddings that I was invited to that were canceled for this year because of COVID.
Did you go there?
I did. No, I didn't. What do you mean? At that space?
Yeah.
No. I wasn't at that space. 3 weddings overall. But my point being, 2021 is going to be a crazy wedding season. So if you need
That's a
to be
great
wedding ready, think Heritage Hill. They're really awesome out there.
Absolutely. And not just that, they make amazing craft beers.
Hello, baby.
No, they really do. I had the pleasure of meeting the brewmaster, young guy,
Yeah.
but incredibly well seasoned, an engineer that understands what it takes in order to make a great brew. So
when you say brewmaster, that's huge. That is actually a skilled talent.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely. Yeah. And they go to school for this stuff.
Yes.
They're scientists, basically.
Absolutely.
But, they know what they're doing. So, Heritage Hill, got to go out there.
Check it out. Okay, if you are not, please follow us on YouTube. Follow us, subscribe to YouTube. Yep. It'll give you an alert every week. Every Thursday, a new episode drops. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Share it with the people you love, your friends, because we have so many exciting videos. We just shot last week. We were at Benjamin Franklin. We have a new drink recipe. Check that out.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Nick Falcone.
Nick Falcone. He's awesome. Yep. We loved him.
The owner, proprietor. And you know what? To be honest, it's been a while since I've been in Benjamin's, and
it looks awesome.
Yeah, it took me back. That place used to be the Zodiac Club.
Yes,
Eileen's way years ago.
Yeah,
and then it was Ohm for a while, but now it's been Benjamin's. I think for like 5-10 years.
It really is. Yeah. Yes. And Sebby, later, Dad will tell you about the old days at the bar.
Speaking of which,
he is pissed. I may not be back next week, but if you do join us next week,
meet our new co-host,
Steve. Steve's also a mute. He went smart this time.
Exactly. He's like Teller in Penn and Teller.
Yeah.
He's just always
that's your dream co-host.
No, you are my dream co-host.
I love you, brother. Yes.
Yeah,
I love you like a brother.
Bothered, thank God.
Yes, I love you, brother.
All right. But we also got to talk about your pop-up and show-offs, too, because you guys are sponsors. You're putting your money where your mouth is and telling everybody as far as, like, what you're doing.
Yeah, so it's a pop-up shop for myself, Kelly, Show-Offs Boutique. Kelly, you have been in the business for over 20 years. It's absolutely fantastic. Women's clothing, women's accessories. It's always on the forefront of what is happening in fashion.
High-end, but a great price point always.
Exactly.
A lot of quality in your materials and all that stuff. So
yeah. So awesome. We love it, Kelly, right? And come shop because I have some home stuff in the store. Kelly made it possible. She said, Scottie, come do this with me. So this is our passion project together. On top of this passion project.
It's a real business, though.
It is,
like you guys have a real business. We had Chris Biley in. He stopped in the store last week and he ended up buying stuff, right?
He did. He joined us.
We're styling you and your home.
Yes, exactly. Kelly, you put it perfectly. Yes.
So,
and we have to talk about
one-stop shopping.
Our last sponsor today, the man, the myth, the legend. You are guiding attorneys through the process.
The process
of intake.
Right. The intake process.
And marketing.
Marketing, getting clients, getting leads. Not easy for lawyers to do. Of course, I'm talking about Ascent.legal. You can check it out. Just Google Ascent.legal or just type it in your browser. Actually, it'll pop up.
Yes.
So, but yes, it's have another team that's dedicated in order to help actually grow your law firm. So, it's kind of like what pays my bills. And it's been very successful. I've created, many multi-million-dollar criminal defense firms, and I'm happy to share my expertise with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So look us up, Ascent.legal.
And without all of this, the show would not be possible. But that, for this week, is Dad's Dishing.
Yes, and let me give a quick shout out to obviously producer Kelly and the rest of our team, Robbie, Sebby, Charlene. Absolute pleasure working and we just love you guys. Yes. And Lena,
Lena left us.
She did.
She is a fabulous baker. Oh, she's off to class. How fun, right? it is a strange world. These kids who are going to school.
All right, check us out on all platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We'll be back next week.
Awesome.
Bye.